Hi, I'm Matt,
And I'm Dave.
and this is a recording of the virtual coffee morning held on the 15th of April 2014. And today's topic is
All about data.
this is going to be perfect for you if you are looking to sell anywhere online, including the marketplaces like eBay and Amazon, and of course Magento too. Or if you're looking at multi-channel software or have just started using multi-channel software as well. Now, I do go off on a bender around data, and the reason for that is that I'm truly passionate about this topic. With great data, you can do anything in or on your e-commerce business, and it's a key enabler to allow you to grow your business long term. Now, I also share two stories with you. One where I had to manually edit over 2,000 listings on eBay and swore blind that I'd never do it again. And another was as a process was put into place to help a business to go from just 3 eBay accounts badly to 15 all in one hit.
Now, this was recorded live, and there will be a welcome section at the beginning, which we do every week, and we also cover the any other business section for this week. And then we just get into the bulk of the coffee morning.
That's right. So if you missed us, you can join us for free every Tuesday by going to understandinge.com/coffee-morning. It's held at 10 a.m. GMT, and all you need is a headset or some speakers to join.
As always, what has been said, and that was our opinion at the time. And if you believe that we can make these mornings better in any way, please let us know your feedback, whether it's good or bad.
With that said, let's jump across to today's coffee morning and learn about data and how it impacts you and your business online. So good morning. I think most of you know us by now. I'm Matt, and we've also got Dave with us. And Dave, who's not a morning person, and we're both harbouring colds again at the moment, so apologies if you get any coughing in the background. Okay, so number one, thank you for joining us this morning, whether you're drinking green tea, good old Tetley, or gin for this time this morning. Happy days. Stop kissing each other. So I kind of tell that one. Right, so we go. Good morning, Maria, as well. So let's move on. So this is kind of about right for what we've got today. So introductions and housekeeping. We're just going to cover the house rule, and we've got an overdose image if we go for 1 hour. I think this week's actually going to be quite quick. I don't know why we've got another thank you in there, because I removed that bit. And today's topic is going to be about data and the way which I look at the internet. Yeah, that's right, Del. It's hidden at the moment. Okay, is the way which we look at the world of the internet, and also how maybe you should look at the world of the internet and your business differently to anybody else. So not as a customer, but as a business owner, and what that actually means for you. So data is a massive piece for that. So we'll be looking at that. And we've got a little topic for any other business as well. Okay, so moving on, house rule. There's no such thing as a daft question if you don't know the answer. And we really do appreciate your feedback. And if you've got any questions as we go through, please just ask. And we generally mean that. There's no such thing as a daft question if you don't know the answer. Okay, probably is the answer to that, Del. I've got no idea who that is. So
really, Matt, you have no idea who that is?
No, I don't watch TV.
I know, but it's all over Twitter as well, man.
Oh, is it? Well, I haven't been looking at Twitter either. Sorry, just give you another insight. I have selective ignorance. Okay, it's just the way which I work, which is that I put blinkers on and I just try and get stuff done. And that does mean that I don't see the outside world outside of where I'm focused upon. It does mean that I'm super productive in the areas which I am in, and it does mean that I just pay no attention to anything else in the outside world. And again, is that important? Dave will tell me, or Dell will leave us a private message on Oscar Pistora, which I've never heard of. But anyway, today's topic is data. So I've used the matrix image in the background for effect, but it really does mean this. Like, if we think about the matrix, this was humans sleeping. Okay, that is the rest of the world. Okay, so you're sat there listening to this. You're special. You're on the other side of the matrix. Okay, you're Neo. You're the other characters in this world, and then you hook up to this world of the matrix, which is online selling. Okay, and we need to look at this matrix, at this data differently from anybody else. And if you look at it like this, then you're going to have such an advantage over someone else. And I've got a story to share with you and how I learned about this the hard way. Okay, so let's start with this story, and it's a personal story, and I'll tell you the whole truth of this as well, which is that when back in like 2003, maybe 2004, I forget now, which was that I was asked to be the power seller of the month. I thought that's fantastic, getting loads of PR, etc., etc. And I had about 2,000 listings live on eBay. Now, we had tools like Selling Manager, and we had Turbo Lister. Let me just pronounce that correctly because I've got a nickname for that. And Turbo Lister was nowhere. Turbo Lister was the Turbo Lister, which is actually now really, really good. And it's a really good piece of software. But back then, it had hardly anything in it. Like the import wasn't there. You couldn't import listings. When you could, you can edit them very easily. It was just a general nightmare. Okay. So every listing which I had on eBay had been put on eBay manually. So I was going to the sell your item form and typing in the title, the description, and adding the images and everything in manually. And I had no software in place, or we had no software in place. And it was the week of my sister's wedding. So I've got a sister, and I've got a brother who's much, much older than me. And my sister Claire, she was getting married on the following weekend, and I got this phone call from eBay. And like I said, I'm going to be very open with this one. I'd been naughty, okay, and they basically told me to update the listings to remove the bit which I'd been naughty on. And what had actually been done, this was like the good old days, which was that you didn't have the eBay description in an iframe in the listing. It was actually part of the eBay page, and of course that allowed you to do some funky stuff if you were a bit naughty, like perhaps putting a layer on top of the eBay logo, so that when they click back on the eBay logo in the top left-hand corner, that actually went to my eBay store, and that's what I got picked up on. They didn't notice the other stuff which I'd done, which I had to clear out at the same time, but that's what the call was about. And it was a very curious party, which was basically saying that I needed to go back and edit my live listings. Okay. Now, I didn't have any software in place. Like I mentioned, Turbo Lister. I was using it, but it was... sorry to hear that, by the way, David. And Sam, I don't think I can do anything about the meeting breaking up. I've got like the fastest internet we can have in the UK, so it might be something at your end. Sorry to say that to you, Sam, but I do suspect that might be the case. Okay. Anyway, coming back onto topic, I had no real software in place, so didn't really have Turbo Lister, but it was super pants back then, so not particularly great. And you couldn't do any of the stuff which you can do now. Turbo Lister is really good. There was no file exchange. There was literally nada, and I had to edit 2,000 listings by hand. And the result was that I spent the entire week editing all these listings by hand, and I just made it in time for the wedding which came through. Okay. Now, I also tried to sell on Amazon as well, and probably just like you, I looked at Amazon, and why not? Even back then, Amazon was a big marketplace, and there was lots and lots of potential in there, but I had 3 problems. Number one, all my data, and I mean all of my data, was manually entered into eBay. I had no idea what I was doing on Amazon because it was just this weird marketplace where, what do you mean I don't need to fill all this information out? And it had this really scary interface to it. And of course, it all went Pete Tong by the end of it. And because I didn't focus any attention on it, because I didn't have the good data or any software in place to process it, then I had just to make a choice. Was I going to focus on eBay, or was I going to go and focus on Amazon? And Amazon, even back then, was showing promise, but the majority of my sales were coming from eBay, so that's where I focused my time and attention to. So this is how it actually went down, is that I had my listings on eBay and I had to edit all of them. So I went to eBay, the sell your item form, edited it, which is about 4 or 5 clicks minimum to go in, and that's excluding to take the bit of extra code out which I needed to do, and then edit and to edit the listing, then resubmit it, and I had to do that 2,000 times, and that was crazy. Now the thing is that this should have gone down very, very differently. And again, you're all so many steps on. It's amazing. I wish I had this back then, because this is how it should have gone down. Is that my data should have been in Excel. And the reason why it was in Excel is because then I could import, in this case, into Magento and M2E Pro. And I need to cough, so I'm just going to mute myself for a moment. Dave, do you want to catch up?
Have some hold music? Yeah, so basically, if Matt's data was in Excel, that would have allowed him to basically do the edit en masse and basically change any bits and pieces that he needed to do. And I mean, I have no idea how his sneaky little layers worked on eBay, but if you could update that en masse, then it would be a really simple change. Now, this would be exactly the same if, for example, you had, say, something wrong in your returns policy on all your listings. There was something illegal in there, so, against eBay policy.
Or you just wanted to change.
Or you just wanted to change it. Instead of having to go into each individual listing, and in Matt's case, that was 2,000 listings, and change them all manually with the same bit of text, all you would do now is log into M2E Pro, nip into the policy tab, and update that, and then that would in turn update every single listing that was live on.
Yeah,
and that's
right.
It's a whole different level of automation.
Yeah, exactly. So what I would have done was just go straight into and change the template and gone through and just edit it again. I would have had a couple of templates. I'm sure you've got a couple of templates as well. Edited the templates and then disappeared off to the coffee shop. That's the reality on there. And of course, then it could have impacted not just one marketplace. I could have done that for multiple marketplaces at the same time, which kind of brings us on to, or like into a full circle, back into the topic of data. And the reason why it does that is because if you've got great data, you can pretty much do anything you want. Now, I'm going to share this kind of insight into how we see data, okay, which is that data really is the lifeblood of your business. If you've got great data in a versatile, like in inverted commas, versatile format, in other words, Excel or in Magento or in a database somewhere, you can pretty much do anything you want. So that could be build a website. It could be building another website. It could be selling on eBay, not just once, but twice or more times if you want to. You could sell on Amazon, make a catalog. So if you wanted to make a PDF catalog of your products, you could do to do mail shots or anything you want. And you can update it quickly. You can change anything, anytime you need to, if you have great data. But going back to the original story, is that I had data, but it wasn't very accessible. And when it meant that I wanted to change something across a large number of listings, then it was nigh on impossible. Well, it was possible, but it took a week to do it. It was just a nightmare. And again, many of you will be selling on eBay, Amazon, and have your website. And if you don't have great data, then and the ability to change this across the marketplaces, then you're in a bad position, basically. And this is just the kind of point which we want to make out, is that we know that using software, and we'll get into this topic in a few moments, is a challenge. It's a learning curve. Some of you may, like, this might be your first introduction into using, or even having a website, is that this will be your first introduction, and the challenges are basically the same, which is that you're going to have to migrate from where I was, 2002, 2003, where I had no tools into place, and then put some software into place. And yeah, it is this steep learning curve, but the moment you've got some tools into place, then it's just happy days. Is that you're not having to spend a week to go and edit that kind of number of listings. And you can wander off to the coffee shop, and you can join us this morning, for example. You can actually start working on your business rather than in it all the time. Now, we've got a screenshot up of Amazon for one of our favorite example products, which is the bananagrams game. Now, many of you may look at this page and go, oh, cool, it's bananagrams, I can do that with the kids and stuff like that. That's not the way which we should be looking at this page at all. We need to look behind the prettiness on this page, and I mean completely behind the prettiness, and look at what's actually going on in that page, so how it could reflect back to us and our business. So what I've just been in highlighted a couple of sections on here. So this is how I see a page on Amazon. The day's the same, and this is our point for this coffee morning, which is that this is the way that you should be looking at a product on Amazon, or a product on your website, or anywhere on the internet. It's all just the data, and all the fluffiness around the outside is just that. It's just fluffiness. So on the left-hand side, you can see this product's got 3 images. Now, I don't see images. I see image URLs, or paths to images either held on Dropbox or on the website. I don't see the image. I just want to make sure the image is correct. What's contained in the image is almost irrelevant to what I've got there. We can see we've got a title, which is the bananagrams game. We've also got the manufacturer when it moves, so that could be important too. We've got an RRP. We've got a price. We've also got some bullet points as well. Now, I don't see bullet points. I just see columns in Excel. And the reason why I see columns in Excel, because if I was listing or creating this item onto Amazon, I would want the same details on my website and also on eBay or anywhere else which I'm selling. And that's the key point. If you've got those bullet points and you've got the images, the title and the price, and then you'll need some other details like a description and a stock number and quantity and a few other details as well, is that you can do pretty much anything you want with that. So if you want to go and put it onto a second eBay account, you want to go and put it on another website, you can do that because you've got the raw data. And of course, if you wanted to say, for example, that it wasn't 2 centimeters by 2 centimeters for the tile width, it was 2.5, you would change it in one place, and then you can update multiple marketplaces or multiple sales points to your customers very, very, very quickly. And if we move on a touch, okay. Sorry about that, Jade. We are trying to make that a little bit more easily, and apologies for any of you which have had challenges this morning. And we'll look into that afterwards. So please accept our apologies right now, and we'll see what's going on. Jade, actually, if you could do me a favor, could you forward me the email which you received with the wrong link in it, so I can have a nose to see when it was sent out, and we'll tackle that afterwards. Okay. So moving on, I've just been scrolled down the Amazon page, and there's some related items on Amazon. Now, Amazon work these out automatically. Again, they've got the funds to put software into place to work out which items do sell with those products. But from our point of view, we should be thinking about what are the other related products, so that as a customer, when you go into the Amazon page, if that item's not the right item for that customer, that you have some form of exit strategy for the listing. And of course, that can be powered by data. And again, with the standard templates which we've got in the eBay listing template builder, is that we've got the related items in there, and it's just to give you a fighting chance to get the customer out of that listing to at least to one of your other listings while you're in there. Moving on the left-hand side, we've got the technical details, so we can see the item weight, the dimensions, the model number, the languages, and some other details. On the right-hand side, we can see the ASIN. We can see the bestseller rank, which is not really a data point for creating products, but you can also see the shipping weight and some other details, which I can't. Oh, there's the ASIN. Sorry, it's not the standard format. And then down at the bottom, we can see that we've got a product description, and this one's broken into two pieces. We've got a paragraph description and then 2 bullet points. And again, I don't see manufacturer's description. I just see a cell in Excel, and I also see another cell in Excel with 2 bullet points in it with a little bit of HTML. Okay, I don't see the formatting on the page. That's just the stuff which makes it pretty. So when we go and look at a similar item on eBay, it's the same story. If you put like your hand on your screen and cover up the eBay logo and like the seller information on the right, is that it's almost irrelevant what we're looking at and the way it's formatted. What's really, really important to us is the data which is sat behind this. So if I just move one slide on, you'll see again, we've got the images on the left. I don't see images. I see image URLs. I see the data sat inside an Excel document, or which I can then import into. In this case, it's Magento and M2E Pro to then be listed off to eBay or to Amazon accordingly. We've got the title, we've got the price, we've got some shipping information in there. And if we move down into the listing, this one's not the best. Well, it was easy for us to edit this one, but I also see condition. Now, I don't see condition, I don't see it as new. I see a condition code number in the background, the internal number for eBay, which is 1000. I don't see new and the rest of the text. I just see the number 1000 sat in the background. You've got age level, country, type, and subtype. They're just labels. They're just columns in an Excel spreadsheet. And the reason why they're just, again, the whole point of this coffee morning this morning is that they're just columns in Excel. And then on the left-hand side, the shop categories. Now, this seller doesn't actually have any categories, but if they did, I don't see a category name called Shop Home. I just see a number, and that's the number of the eBay shop category. And the reason why I only see a number is that because if I was selling this product on Amazon, I probably wouldn't, on eBay, I probably wouldn't just be using one eBay ID. I would be using more than one for sure. And I would also have this extra sheet in Excel, which has got a VLOOKUP, and it would be matching the store categories from one eBay shop to another, so that I only need to enter the store category ID in once, and then it will just waterfall into the other eBay account, so that when I import that data into Magento, then it means that it's cross-related, and I'm only entering it once. I've done a bit of extra work in Excel, and it just waterfalls across the other eBay accounts. And then in the descriptions, they've got a funky bit of HTML for the bananagrams in there, but they've also got a paragraph in there as well. So that's how I personally see eBay. That's how I see Amazon. That's also, if you stuck your website in there, the pretty stuff, the logo, the color schemes and stuff, that for me, that's just completely irrelevant, because if you've got great data, you can make it look brilliant. You can do anything. You can make it look like eBay. You can make it look like Amazon. You can make it look like dabs.com, whoever. It really is completely irrelevant. And I know that I'm talking a lot, but this is kind of like my passion coming out, is because if you do have good data, you can do anything which you like with it, almost anything on there. It's just such an enabler. And again, just bringing this back to reality, we know it's a pain in the rear for you to maybe type in 5 different bullet points, for example, into Magento, so that you can get your 5 bullet points come out on your website or onto eBay. We know that takes extra time. It may be something which you're not used to, but the benefit is that you have this separate information. So if you want to update that 1 bullet point, you can do. Okay, you don't have to go in and do what I did, which was go to eBay, go and hit revise and then go into the HTML description tab, change it in there, then hit confirm at the bottom, and then hit confirm again. And trust me, that's ingrained so much in my head, never to do that again. I can still remember doing it. It was just a horrific week in my life for doing that. And I genuinely don't want for you to ever to have to do that. And again, Magento and M2E Pro enable us to work smarter with our data. And this is just like the one step further on. Okay, so moving on, this is how it looks to us. And this is how data should look to you. It's not eBay, it's not Amazon, it's not your website. And Dave, you popped this sheet together earlier for us, didn't you?
I did indeed, yes. So the name's maybe not exactly what Amazon would want, for example, but this is roughly how it looks. This is how your Amazon import sheet would look. And this is how you can add numerous products all at once, or edit numerous products all at once.
That's right. We've just got one row in this spreadsheet. We've got SKU, title, price, special price, bullet one, etc., etc. But that's just one product on row 2. You could have your entire inventory in that spreadsheet. You could have that master spreadsheet, which has got all of your data. So if you changed or needed to change something, you could do very easily. It's like Excel. Excel's just a tool for you. And you can jump in there and change it very, very, very quickly. And so I'm just checking something on the background. Cool. So that then brings us on to, I click right tab, software. Okay. Before software, everything is pretty much manual. Remember the first day that you sold something on eBay, or the first day that you sold something on Amazon, or the first day you put that product onto your website, everything was manual. You typed the products into eBay. You went to the eBay sell your item form and typed in the title. Well, you probably typed in the title, then put in the category, then showed some item specifics, then gave it a stock number, then you put in the description, and then you ticked all those boxes. And it would take you like 10, 15, 20 minutes to create this one listing. And the thing is that back there, even if you're using Turbolist, you still have to create that product. This is the irony, is that if you've got a brand new product to the marketplaces, then it needs to be documented. Now, our point is that if you're not using software, then you're going to be typing that information in manually into one marketplace. And again, if you then wanted to go and sell it on Amazon, then you'd have to close the browser down, go across to Amazon, and type the same information in again. And then when it comes back to a later date, going back to the original story, is that you're then unable to adapt quickly. For just choose a basic one. What happens if you wanted to change your price on eBay and Amazon? So you wanted to move it from $9.99 to $10.99. You would have to go to eBay and type the information in. You'd have to go to Amazon or maybe your website at the same time. Now, after software, you still have manual actions. You still have to make the edits. That's still going to have to happen. You're still going to either, in this case, go to Magento and change the information there. May have to update it in Excel and then import it into Magento. You still have to make the change somewhere. But the crucial point is that you can bulk up dates. You can adapt really, really quickly. And again, in my case, you can retain your hair. Okay, that's a big one for me. It's because I swear blind. I lost most of my hair because I had to deal with Joe Public customers, which drove me bonkers, which I'm sure most of you have to deal with on a daily basis. But once you've got software in place, it's the same data, but it's different. But you've then got the flexibility to do whatever you need to do in your business on a daily basis. Now, I have been talking really quickly, and I apologize for that. It's just one subject which I'm really, really passionate about, and I wanted to try and keep this morning to like really, really quick. Now, open question. Was that kind of clear for you? Can you see where I'm going with this and why? I tell you what, let me ask a slightly different question. If you now go onto eBay or if you now go onto Amazon, will you look at these marketplaces differently? Will you see beyond the title and the prettiness, the Amazon logo? Will you see beyond that and see the title and maybe see it as Excel, maybe as us? Has that helped you? you want to let us know in the chat box? And Del, you're already there. You can see beyond it. Cool beans. Cool beans. Right, so sorry, I'm just skipping on in the background. Yeah, Andre, I'm with you. I wish I'd stored our data like this from day one. I honestly do that as well. Again, it's the experience factor, isn't it? Is that what would you do differently now if you had to start again from afresh? That's a very interesting concept. The crucial point is, Andre, you actually got off your bum and started your own business. So that was the biggest win you've probably ever made for that. So, Andrew, yeah, there will be a recording of this afterwards, and we'll get onto that topic in a few moments. Okay, so let's move on to any other business. So this is going to be quite a short copy morning compared to some of the other ones which we've had. Yeah, it's knowing the right system to do this, Gary. Yeah, absolutely.
And picking the right one that works for your business.
Yeah, yeah. And what I would say to that is that there's nothing wrong with just, let me word this correctly. Any software is good software, okay? It's okay to outgrow whatever you're using right now. It's okay to use the sell your item form. It's okay to manually create items on Amazon. The point is that you grow with the business. So once you realize that you're outgrowing that, then you move to a third-party piece of software. Again, it doesn't matter. This has always been my advice. In fact, I was chatting to somebody on via email this morning, and they use a different piece of software, and they're telling me it's like super expensive, et cetera, and all these problems. And my advice actually normally is that don't move software, because it takes time, it takes effort. It normally takes weeks. Again, in his case, it's going to take a minimum of 2 months to move properly. But the point is that he's got his business to such a large scale by leveraging the software to the point that it would be painful to move. Now, again, I can't say his name, but he needs to work out whether the advantage of moving from one system to another is good for his business. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Again, this is an open forum. Okay. I'm just really passionate about data, and I'm just super honest. It doesn't matter which software. And again, I don't care if you're using Nimworks or you're not even using Magento and M2E Pro. It really doesn't matter. What it does matter is that in this instance, that you look at the world differently with your data. Any software is good software. Don't do what I had to do with the 2,000 listings, doing it manually. Just get some software into place. And again, it's okay to outgrow it. I really genuinely mean that as well. So I'm just looking at Maria's question. Dave, if I read it out, do you want to answer it?
Give it my best shot.
Happy days. So we don't have our data stored in one Excel file. Is there any way of exporting data from Amazon, eBay, and our own website, then consolidate it into one spreadsheet, which would be a master model? Haha, I like your thinking going forward. Dave, that's a tough one. Go for it.
It is. And as far as exporting data from Amazon and eBay, yes, it it can be done, but it will need some sort of intervention in order to get it. You will basically have to spend some time getting your data in the right order. You know, I think my advice, Matt, would be set up a template and then try and backfill it with what you've got in eBay and Amazon. So do the export and then try and rearrange it. Matt will probably know some clever way of doing this. And then, yeah, use a master model, definitely. Like I said, Dale's mentioned better using separate sheets. Because of the way that the imports differ on eBay and Amazon, then, yeah, have an Amazon sheet, have an eBay sheet. And if that helps, then, organize the columns differently. But, yeah, I would strongly recommend having a sort of central place where your data is kept.
Yeah, Excel is always the no-brainer to use. The reason being is that it's relatively inexpensive and it's highly flexible. as to the point that to make a rule to work out your pricing is really straightforward. You just got to Google add 10% in Excel, and you've got the answer immediately. You can also do really funky stuff with it as well. Maybe can I just share another story with you, which I worked for a fashion company up in Manchester, and again, I'm just not going to name them. Which was the day one when I walked in there. Maybe get this right. I used to work for a software company, and I went in there as an account manager, and then I ironically ended up working with them for a year or more. Brilliant guys. Anyway, one of the conversations which I had, which was that, why don't you put that into Excel? And instead of manually doing this, put it into Excel and then just import it. And the irony was that several months on, I actually joined their team, and what was happening is that they actually had 3 main eBay accounts that they sold fashion. So fashion moves really quickly. I didn't realize how quickly it actually moved. And they would have one of the brothers would go off and buy the stock, say on a Monday morning, bring it back and put it on this table. Then what would happen? They would go and create their first part of their data. So they were okay. They got to several £1 million worth of turnover doing this process. So let's not knock it at all. They would take this one product, put it onto the desk. Then they would create a master product or configurable product, as you know it. Then, because it was footwear, it would come in multiple sizes, or clothing would also come in multiple sizes as well. And I'm just going to skip back because we really need one of those slides back up there. Okay. Onto the table, they would make the master record. Then they would, if they got time, that they would then go and make it for their other 2 eBay accounts. Now, the thing is that they had to write the title, the description. These products had never been documented before. And they'd also got an in-house photographer as well. So if you think about like the staff overhead to this, there was 4 members of staff working as a team here. You had the person who bought the product, delivered it to the table. You had then the first member of staff, which would then add it into eSeller Pro. Then the product would then go off to the photographer. They would take pictures of the product. Then those images then get edited, and then the 4th member of staff went in and then added the images in and put the other bits of missing information in. So they had this process, and it worked pretty good. Let's be fair here, it worked pretty good. So yeah, everybody contributed, and everybody had specific functions within this business. And again, they were staff rich in this case, so they'd seen what they needed to do, and they built this process over a period of time. So I walked in there and I said, well, look, you've got this one product, and sometimes it hits the 2nd ID, and sometimes it will make it to the 3rd eBay ID when you get chance. But that's not acceptable. So we had a strategy chat. We actually ended up with 15 eBay accounts at the end, to give you an idea. And this is how the process then worked, is that what then happened, they had this Excel spreadsheet. They would type the main product details on row 1. Okay, now we had multiple templates for different types of products. So we had a template for men's footwear, a template for women's footwear, tops, dresses, and a whole collection of other templates as well. We really did customize it to the product type. And the point was that they would type out the top row. So that one row back in that Excel spreadsheet, they would type it out in there. Then what happened was beneath there is that all the Excel functions kicked in, that all the rules kicked in, and it would go and make the, again, as you know them, as configurable products, it would go and create the sub-SKUs for them, as you know, as simple products. Then it would sort out all the pricing, it would sort out the template assignment, the pricing rules, the shipping, the eBay shop categories. And we had a couple of tabs in there as well. So we had this big VLOOKUP table. So that's how you manage to do it across several different eBay accounts. That's why I mentioned I don't see an eBay shop category. I see a shop category ID, because it was an ID which we used to look across many eBay accounts. Because again, if you've got a lookup table, you only need to get one key right, and it will waterfall all the way across, and it will look up accordingly for you. And of course, we then imported that data in. Yes, that meant we had one person entering the product in. We still had the photographer, but the 3rd person wasn't really amending the data anymore. They were actually then setting that product to go live on eBay onto the multiple accounts where it's needed to. Again, with 15 eBay accounts, you needed to be quite clear on where different products went to at different times. And of course, the other sheet which we had, which this topic came up in the forums, I think it was Dell mentioned this as well about Amazon, is that, yeah, I've worked for eSeller Pro, I've seen Channel Advisor, I've seen the other tools out there, and I still stand by this, which is the fastest way and the best way to list products to Amazon is using their import sheets. And again, that was one of the main reasons why we had different Excel templates for their business, because that then meant it's all customized. And of course, the Amazon sheet, you had different valid values, and again, we had formulas in the sheet, and it would create the Excel file. But we went one stage further, which was that we then had, when they pressed Control S on their keyboard, we written a macro, which would then separate all the files out and save them into different folders. Those folders, or those files in those folders, one of those folders was a special folder called AMTU, which is a piece of software called Amazon Transport. Amazon Transport Utility, which is a free piece of Java software, which basically means if you drop an Excel file, sorry, CS tab delimited file for Amazon in that folder, it will automatically upload to Amazon for you. So you don't need any special software for this. It's free and Amazon provide it. You would drop it in there and then it would go off to upload. So Amazon, we did some funky stuff with eSeller Pro where it automatically imported into eSeller Pro, which is, I hasten to add, perfectly possible via Magme, Magento as well. And the reason why we put this piece of FTP software in place is because we then got to a stage where it was taking them longer to manually upload the import file than what it was to write the first product, take the photographs, and then edit them. You had this one girl, you had this blockage in the chain where she was spending absolutely ages uploading files to, in this case, eSeller Pro. And that was crazy. So we looked at automating that as well. So Maria, coming back to your original question, yes, categorically yes. You should ideally have this separate Excel spreadsheet. And again, it depends upon your business. Some businesses, you're going to find this massively advantageous. And some businesses, again, if you're only ever going to be selling on eBay, I would still suggest it, but it's not going to be such a massive win for you. But in your case, if you've got eBay, if you've got Amazon and a website, then yeah, I would look. And again, if you don't have this in place right now, I would look at consolidating that. But I would break it up into the pieces. I would break it into product data. So that would be SKU, price, cost price, quantity, description, bullet point, and images. Okay, and probably a few other details which would need to get chucked in there as well. Maybe you could have a separate tab, worksheet in Excel, which has then got the eBay specific information in there. So that would be the eBay category number. That would be item specifics. Again, if those item specifics are not useful for the other marketplaces, if they are useful for the other marketplaces, then put them back on the main sheet. When it comes to Amazon, then again, if the products already exist on Amazon, then I would have a ASIN column back on the main sheet. But if it was something which you're going to be creating, you don't have an ASIN yet, and you need to come back and update, then that Amazon sheet wouldn't just be a few details about Amazon. That would be the Amazon template sheet for that product. Okay, and again, if you're selling over multiple categories, this is going to be a little bit tricky for you. I know, I've been there and I've done that. But on a basic level, at least one sheet for the Amazon import. And again, you can then just use a straight equal sign in Excel to grab the data from the other sheet. You can run your own formulas against it. You could add if statements. So maybe your color doesn't match and you maybe have got a color lookup table, for example, to give you an idea of what we did back at that fashion company. We actually had a language translation sheet in there. So we had all the UK colors, which they were allowed to enter. And then we had all the French translations. We had all the German, Spanish, and Italian translations. So we had even more sheets in our workbook, but they were translating against the main sheet. So when they imported in, we could do not only multiple eBay IDs, we could also do multiple eBay accounts with localized information as best as we could. Okay. Now, if you do have your data, Maria, spread across different channels, then this isn't going to be an easy task for you. There's no way of getting around this. Again, it's a good problem to have. Let me just word it that. It's not a bad problem. The reason why it's not a bad problem is because you're selling on multiple channels. Okay, so you've got multiple income streams, and this is a good problem to have. Now, actually getting the data is a little bit tricky. Okay, for eBay, you could maybe, again, if you're not selling variations, you could just do a straight file exchange export, and that would get you close enough for it. Again, we are behind with export my listings. That would give you like the de facto data out of eBay, but that will give you a fighting chance. When it comes to Amazon, how do I word this? You're not in a very good position. Let me get that wording correctly, because I'm add a different layer to that, but you're not in a very good position. The reason being is that if you've been manually entering information into Amazon, you cannot get that data back out. There is no export option from Amazon to get the bullet points, to get the description out. On the bright side, you are in a better position because the item's already on Amazon. So if you long as you export you just do a straight inventory export out of Amazon, which will give you the ASIN, your merchant SKU, your quantity and your price and condition, I think, off the top of my head. As long as that merchant SKU matches up to the SKU which you're using on eBay, straight VLOOKUP, and you can get the ASIN back. And again, some of this stuff you're going to have to do manually. Okay, so it won't be perfect. If you've only ever been selling on Amazon, for example, there is no matchup in there, you're going to have to look at some other options. So that would be web scraping. Again, there are some versatile web scraping scripts which you can go and scrape the data off Amazon. You can use freelancing sites to do that. There's several tools like iMacros, Win Automation, and again, depends how deep you want to go. There's Scrappy, which is a PHP library which you can use. And again, if I've just lost you with that, stick a job on Odesk or Elance and go and get someone to do it, even if they have to do it by hand. Somebody, say, in the Philippines or India would actually probably be my suggestion for this one, because it's quite a robotic task. It would be highly inexpensive. So sorry, I've gone off onto a bender for about 15 minutes answering that one question, but it is such a big one. Okay, that is a very, just to stress, that is a very, very good problem to have, and that's very, very handy. Okay, so not handy, it's just a good problem. Dave, anything to add to that?
I think you've pretty much said everything possible about that one, mate.
All right, sorry, that was to the end.
Yeah, this is Matt's favourite topic, is data. So there's no one better to speak to regarding data and how to manipulate it the best way that you can. So no, I'm a mere Padawan on that topic.
Okay, really good problem, Maria. If anybody else who's got that problem, then that's just, it's an amazing problem to have. It's going to take you a while to get up to scratch, and it's going to be painful. There's going to be a lot of coffee required, or tea, to do it. But when you come out the other side, you're going to be in so much of a better position. And my advice always stands is that if you can get it out, happy days. It's regardless of software, regardless of whatever your business, whatever category you're in, whatever your business does. When it comes to product selling online, if you can get it out into this an Excel spreadsheet, and then again, some of you may be using databases like Access or MySQL, it really doesn't matter. Just get your data separated, and you can do magic with it. If you want to update one thing, you just bulk update it. It's nice and straightforward. So, Peter, just seen your message about Udemy. Now, we did try that. So, Peter, I'm going to catch up with you afterwards about Udemy, because we're still sat as pending review at the moment. So I'd love to just pick your brains on that one. Let's have a quick look, some notes on there.
I saw a note off Jade as well, and I think Jade went and found out the answer. But for anyone who doesn't know, the reason that we're using Udemy for the Magento website guide is two main reasons. Firstly, is that when we ask the question, what do you want to see, and the Magento website won in terms of versus Amazon, which one was the priority. We then looked around to see what the competition was in terms of, no, not competition, but see what else was out there in terms of Magento video tutorials. And the answer was not much. Or should I say, not much in plain English. Like the one that we found, that it went straight into coding in the second tutorial. And
that's brilliant for me, but
great
maybe not
site,
for you.
yeah. No, not. I would have given up after 10 minutes. So one of the places that we looked was Udemy, and me and Matt love Udemy. It's a fantastic site. For anyone who doesn't know it, it's basically a video learning website where anyone can upload courses, and some are free, some are paid for, and you can watch the course. It's all laid out very nicely, and it's dead easy to follow along with. And there was 2 other Magento website courses available, and both of them, in our opinion, were not great. And by not great, we mean not very good at all. And they were both paid for. One was $40 and one was $9. And we basically figured our foundation course was always going to be free. And me and Matt like to sort of try and stick to the mantra that our free content will be better than other people's paid for content. And so we thought, yeah, let's stick it on Udemy. And just so you know, Udemy is almost like a trial for us to see what it does. It's also a potential marketing opportunity for us, because there's going to be an audience on Udemy who don't know Understanding E yet, and it's a good opportunity for us to try and get some new users onto the Understanding E website. But also, like I said, the website foundation course will be available on Understanding E website as well. It's just like, for the time being, we put it on Udemy because it was easy for us to track where we're up to and move the guides around and get the ordering right, rather than have to change web pages. And we're actually going to use Udemy. Like I said, once the course can be, like I said, a bit of a grey area at the minute, whether it can go live or not. We have tried to share it, but like I said, it's pending review. As soon as it can go ready, it's set to private, and the premium members will get invited over to use it for a week or so before it's released publicly on understandinge.com. And then once, like I said, the reason for the week's delay is to give me a chance to catch up and get all the sort of page content done. Because what we are, Matt, is it 60-something guides for the foundation course for the website? It's something like that.
It is. There is this quite heavy crossover between the two as well. What we're doing, again, there's a chap called Rich, and he's giving me like really bad feedback, like really constructive feedback, but really bad feedback on the earlier tutorials. And I totally agree with him. And there is this like massive crossover between what we've now been and done and the existing tutorials. And it doesn't really impact many of you. And right now, because I'm assuming most of you are quite far on within the tutorials, but we've basically redone the majority of the original tutorials for the better. The audio quality is better. They're shorter. We cover the US web hosting, for example, which has been a major challenge for us. So, but one thing which we've learned, and hands up, we're guilty, what we should have done is drop these tutorials out as they were done. I think that's one thing which we've learned. The one takeaway from doing this, we should have just been publishing them as they were done. Okay, instead of holding up for 6 weeks or more, probably more.
Yeah. The reason behind that was obviously we were building the site on Udemy, and we can't publish on Udemy before a certain percentage of the content is ready. And like I said, we even last week we were reordering the guides. And like I said, that's probably the main reason, because we didn't know, like I said, for the foundation, as with the getting started guides, we needed to get the ordering right so they made the most sense. And like I said, also, some of the content is semi-duplicated. We've had to obviously remove any mention of M2E Pro and eBay in the website guides, because, like I said, for people on Udemy who have no idea what Understanding It is, they're there to learn about Magento website, not about multi-channel e-commerce. So there is going to be a little bit of difference, but a large part of it is going to be a bit of an overlap. But yeah, going forward, I think me and Matt made a decision. The design course for Magento will be being released in stages, like we did with the rest of the guides on UE. So we had like the import guides. They came, it's like 6 of those came out. Then the listing templates, they came out. So yeah, we'll go back to doing it as drip feeding it as soon as they're ready. So
yeah, it is. We've learned a lot, and again, on the outside, it looks like we haven't been doing a lot. Trust me, we've been working our little pieces off in the background.
As soon as we get some stick in the forums saying we've gone quiet and all the rest of it, and yeah, I know it can look like that, but please believe us, I'm sleep deprived.
Right. So moving on, because we're going to hit overdose time in a minute. Okay. We've got a podcast coming out this afternoon. You're going to meet Claire from FIFO. There's a little picture of Claire on the right-hand side. She's really cool. This is about using reviews on your website. And again, the time for this is maybe a little bit early, okay? But you're going to start to see how you can get reviews onto your Magento website, and we'll even show you how to set it up as well. That is a free-stage course, or free-stage podcast, should I say, for that. The foundation course, we've covered that. Staff. This is a really liberating. Is that the best word, Dave? Liberating experience? Challenging experience? Nightmare? Fun?
Yeah, it's been a little bit of that. But hopefully this will help us massively in terms of getting things turned around. Because just to sort of give you an idea, for every hour that we record content, it then takes us roughly another 3 hours of editing the audio, editing the video, getting the article written for the page to go live. So, like I said, if we can get someone else to do some of the stuff which we don't necessarily need to do, then that just means me and Matt can create more content.
Yeah, it's just down to specialization or time management. Is our time better spent doing the creative stuff, building the plans, and actually getting the guides recorded, or is our time better spent actually editing the video and doing the articles, etc., etc.? The honest answer to that is, of course not. No way. So we're building up a team right now. We've got our first full-time member of staff in our team. We are looking for a second member of staff. In fact, as soon as we finish this, within 20 minutes, we've got an interview followed by 3 more interviews following that as well, just so that we can move really, really quickly. And again, this is a topic which we're going to be sharing with you, is because we have limited, and I mean really limited, budget on what we can do. So we've got to think differently, and we'll be sharing the experiences with you. And again, we wouldn't, this is the irony, we're going to suggest a slightly different route, which is a much, much safer route for you. Whereas us, again, just because of my experience, and I kind of know what I'm doing this because I've hired teams like this before, it is that I feel more comfortable in it. But for you, I would strongly not suggest the route which we're going down right now. So very, very curious. And again, we're doing our best to build a team up in the background. On that note, let's wrap up here. So if anybody has any questions, please let us know in the chat box on the left-hand side. And open question again. Do you have any topic requests? Is there something you would like us to cover with you? Again, this topic was very, very easy for me because I'm just so passionate about it. Maybe you would like to see maybe some basic Excel guides, for example, or maybe a Amazon integration. Andrew, we know that.
It's a surprise.
yeah. It's not even a surprise. We know this. We want to get to you, and we want to be able to help you and Andre or anybody else which wants to use Magento. Use Magento.
Yeah,
and then
Magento on Amazon.
Yeah. We want to get there to be able to help you, but going back to like right back at the beginning, I only focus, and we only focus on trying to do one job really, really well. And that does mean that we've got to let you down temporarily. Okay, there's no bones about this. We've got to let you down. Okay. But on the flip side, I would rather populate and to get something out good rather than something which is crap or just skims the subject. Okay. For that timescales, I can't give you one. What I can tell you is that we've started the design course right now, We've got numerous of them tied off. We're still trying to recruit a team in there as well, and we're trying to get our best to it. So maybe, Dave, we need to get back, because we've got part of the outline already done, and we've got a team member now which can just basically absorb the amount of video which we take. So yeah, timescales, I don't know, but maybe, Dave, we should publicly commit to something.
I think Matt, I think you know, maybe, like I said, when, you know, a month or so ago, Magento was the hot topic, which a lot of people wanted to see. Do we do? All right, let me ask you a question. Do we do a quick, and I mean quick, almost like a stand-in, a substitute Amazon series that will give you the basics, that will get you up and running, or would you rather wait for us to cover it quickly? Sorry, not cover it quickly. Would you rather us cover it fully and do it properly?
Right, indeed.
Matt's going to shout at me because he doesn't like doing things like this.
We'll fudge it
properly.
But yes,
please. When I say not show you properly, obviously not going to show you anything that, you know, you're going to have to sort of redo. It's almost like a plaster, something which, like I said, the documentation for M2E Pro and Amazon does exist already, and I know that a couple of people are using it, but I also know it's not brilliant, and it's maybe not as in depth as you would like. You know, do we do a quick? I prefer to have full in-depth overviews of subjects, a quick access guide, but then let questions follow up and build from there.
Indeed. Just to answer Peter's question about Inventory Lab, my honest answer to that is I've never used it. I've just seen they got 2 months free trial. I would go and use it for 2 months and see how it is and if it works for you. Again, this is the nice thing on there. They're offering you a free trial. Just make sure it really is and you can get out, etc., etc. Go and try it for 2 months. See how you get on. If it's worth $33, use it. If you don't see the benefit in it, get rid of it. So that's my honest reply to that one.
Chris, you should get a 24-hour Magento technician for when we break our systems. Wow. We looked at getting a Magento.
You know how expensive they are?
Yeah,
jeez.
The guy's expensive. We'd be out of business within hours of hiring that man. Yeah, it's a great idea, and hopefully one day we can afford to pay a lovely Magento developer to hang around in the forums all day. But right now, not a chance. You're stuck with us, unfortunately.
Yeah, honestly, I've looked at this. They are.
We did. It was
super expensive.
I was going to say, yeah, he was Matt's ideal second employee, but then we looked at the wages that they're demanding, and we're not there yet.
Yeah, if you consider if you're going to get a UK developer, then you're talking between 60 to 120 pounds an hour for somebody who really does know their stuff. Okay, so even if you go abroad, then it is still really, really expensive. So right now it's me. It's going to be me for a while. But then that doesn't mean that you can't grab someone in for an ad hoc task on there. And again, this is why we've been kind of saying all along, using Odesk, use Elance on there. You get them to do a basic task first to get the learning experience to go through. Okay. Cool beans. Yeah, 20 USD is still too expensive in my world. Right. So yeah, interesting. We know about this one, but they're going to have to be the third or the fourth member of the team. No, give me the right that fifth or sixth member of the team. There's other roles which we need to populate more quickly. Again, that was one of the ideas which we had right back at the beginning. Paid support. It would be brilliant. So if you've got a problem, chuck the question in, flat fee, etc., etc. That would be really, really cool to have it. But it's not. We're too young to have that in there, right? Yeah. And again, I'm not full of. I'm not short of really good ideas, but they need to be executed properly. That's one thing which I've learned quite been burnt by in the past. Rather try and do the better job, even if it takes us longer or get slapped as we go around. It's just the kind of right thing to do. So on that topic, thank you for joining us this morning. We have actually just gone over into coffee overdose, so I do love coffee very, very much. Thank you once again for joining us. Again, we do look forward to seeing you on the site and in the forums. Remember, there's no such thing as a daft question. We genuinely mean that. And again, that's how I learn. I have to ask the daft questions to get behind this stuff. This is why I'm really passionate about data. I've been there and done it. So thank you for joining us today. Have a fantastic day. Thumbs up. Pete, I will give you a share afterwards. It's going to be a couple of minutes. I'm going to make myself another cup of coffee. And thank you. And we both genuinely really mean that. So have a great morning, and we'll catch you next Tuesday. See you then. When will this be online to start view? Paul, sorry, when will this be online to view from start? Good question. It's going to go to our video editor as soon as it's rendered. And today, let's try for today. If not, it will be tomorrow morning because there is a bit of a time shift. Okay, so either this afternoon or tomorrow. Again, we've got a process in place for this, so we'll get that across to you and make it public as soon as we can. All right. So on that topic, thank you ever so much, and we'll see you next Tuesdays. Cheerio.
See you later.